Democratic Alliance here in Gauteng on Sunday expressed concern at a leaked report that as many as 80 psychiatric patients may have died in Gauteng last year. That's after the Gauteng Health Department cancelled its contract with Life Healthcare Esidimeni, which was caring for about 2,000 patients. And for more on this, we're joined by the Democratic Alliance Caucus leader, Jack Bloom. Mr. Bloom, a very good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning, nice to be with you.
You're also the Health Shadow Minister.
I'm the Health Shadow,
MEC,
no
yes.
longer the Caucus leader, actually.
Okay. Mr. Bloom, tell me something. How do you feel about the situation that happened here in Gauteng? And what was the reason given to you as the DA for removing the patients from Life Esidimeni?
Well, look, we first heard about this in late 2014. And I asked a series of questions about it, and the professed motives of the MEC were twofold. She said that it was to save money. It was a very expensive contract, according to the MEC. And she also said that in line with worldwide trends towards deinstitutionalisation of psychiatric patients, putting them in the community, take them out of institutions, this was another reason why it was going to be done. So this is what the official reasons given in the Gauteng legislature were. Then, of course, the announcement made that the contract was going to be ended at the end of March. Various of us protested about that. I did in the legislature, NGOs, relatives said this is far too soon, you can't do it. The contract was then extended till the end of June. But in fact, we also thought that that was too short a time. And then basically it all happened very, very fast, and with the results that we've unfortunately seen. So that was what was happening in the legislature as far as official questions that I posed.
The Health Department accused Esidimeni of exacerbating the situation. What does it exactly mean, and what did they do wrong?
Well, if you listen to relatives, they were on the whole quite happy with the care and treatment that they were being given at Life Healthcare Esidimeni. There were about 2,000 cases that were there at Life Healthcare Esidimeni. I think the MEC is attacking Life Healthcare Esidimeni now because of the results of what happened afterwards. She has accused them of not providing patient information. They have denied that. So it's going backwards and forwards. She says that patients also died at Life Healthcare Esidimeni. Of course, in the natural course of events, patients do die, but is it because of negligence or is it because of natural factors? So it's become a war of words between the two. But I think the MEC can't blame Life Healthcare Esidimeni for the deaths of patients who have been transferred out from Life Healthcare Esidimeni.
So who do you think should be held accountable then?
Well, in the first place, the MEC herself, Kodani Mshlangu, she had all the warnings that were given to her from people like myself in the legislature, from civil society, from relatives. She went ahead in a very stubborn and arrogant way, I have to say, and rushed the transfer. We all said that it was being done too fast. We all raised questions about the suitability of the NGOs to which they were going to be transferred. And there's some horrific stories that have come out. At the one NGO in the Pretoria area, I think there were about 40 patients transferred there and 9 died. Precious Angels NGO. Now, something is seriously wrong if you send to one NGO and nearly a quarter of all the patients there die. So the problems were being picked up. And we wouldn't have known the full extent of the deaths if I hadn't asked the question in the Gauteng legislature in September last year. It's not like the MEC announced there were 36 deaths, because that was the first figure given. I asked the question, she gave the figure, then, all hell broke loose because people were understandably outraged, and the Minister of Health appointed the Health Ombudsman to do an investigation.
Deinstitutionalisation you mentioned a little bit earlier. Is that a good enough reason, and could this transfer to the communities be handled better, you think?
Oh, absolutely. Look, there is deinstitutionalisation does happen around the world. There are medical grounds for it and social grounds for it. If it's done well, it can work. You try and put people back into the community, but you've got to put them at decent places. And you can't just basically terminate a long-running relationship with a company that was looking after them and place them in unsuitable NGOs. So I think over the longer term, with proper preparation, this could have worked much better than it has, actually. And I think that, unfortunately, it was botched. And what I'm hope is going to come out of the Health Ombudsman report is guidelines for the future. And what safeguards can we put in? Because, mental health is typically, unfortunately, a low priority around the world. It does not get the priority that deserves. People look at you and say, well, you look healthy, what's wrong with you? But you know, the problem is that people have severe problems, and it is treatable. And the problem, of course, is that people have to take their medicines and they need to be under supervised care. And this is all well known. And I think that institutionalization can work in certain circumstances, but it must be done properly.
A leak report suggests more patients died. 80, it suggests.
Well, it's quite shocking. That's the figure that we've given, 80. There might have been more that have died since the announcement was made in the legislature. And I've actually asked follow-up questions in the legislature the MEC has refused to answer. So I think we must await the outcome of the report. I think we need to know the facts, the truth. I know relatives are very anxious to know exactly what happened. And then we'll know the true number of deaths and how many of these deaths could be attributed to negligence or worse, actually. I think there might be charges laid of criminal liability, in fact. We don't know how bad it is. There were post-mortems done. There is evidence, and I think that's going to lead to further action afterwards. And
just finally, Mr. Bloom, your final word, your expectations from this final report?
Well, I have full confidence in the Health Ombudsman. I think he's done it in record time. Unfortunately, it's been delayed. Hopefully, before the end of the month or in early February, the report is publicly released as is planned. And then there must be accountability. I think that the Health MEC should have actually resigned or been fired last year. I think that senior officials need to be held to account, and the NGOs responsible. So hopefully the report provides us all the information we need for future action and to make sure that nothing like this ever happens again.
Mr. Bloom, thank you so much for your time and joining us here in studio. That was Mr. Jack Bloom. He is, of course, the Shadow Minister or MEC for Health here in Gauteng.